Crusader Kings III is a game in which crusades will be waged, fought for by kings, and after 3 failed attempts on Jerusalem, the kings will start to give up. But today, the only crusade that will be waged is that of BouCHAD. No, more like BouCHAD, a man that is always right, but isn't even a man, because he starts his reign at the ripe old age of 0. And even though he's just a day old, he is still stronger, prettier, and much smarter than any other man or creature. He is almost a god. Almost. BouCHAD starts his life as a lowly count under the king of West Francia. The child makes his bishop toil day and night to build any evidence, mostly fake, that would grant BouCHAD a claim on neighboring vassals. None in his realm knew what BouCHAD's intentions were, let alone where he even came from. Their previous liege and all evidence of his existence mysteriously vanished on the beginning of a new year, the 1st of January, 867. And on that same day, an infant boy, with no parents, laid claim to the county of Charlon. No one dared to challenge his infant's rights out of fear that the fate of their previous rulers would befall upon them. So BouCHAD lived out his childhood without any opposition, taking land, managing gold, and even attending feasts. Stories of a child who didn't even know how to speak yet managed an entire realm, spread quickly across medieval Europe. Such miraculous doings could only be done by one of higher power, one of godly power. Age is something that no one can escape, and BouCHAD aged just like everyone else. He grew more and more reclusive, trying his best to hide from any social interaction. And even though he did not care for the interaction with others, that doesn't mean he did not care for them at all, gaining him an odd reputation for being forgiving, a stark contrast to the wars that were being waged under his name. And to top it all off, he wasn't willing to wait for anything he wanted. He would do whatever possible to get what he wanted, when he wanted. This odd combination of traits and his education, if not renowned, but still an education nonetheless, made BouCHAD an unreasonable amount of piety, quickly skyrocketing him to a position of the most pious man, only bested by the Pope, of course. Eventually, BouCHAD got tired of his small, but more than adequate realm. He wanted more. He wanted France. Almost instantly after he turned 16 years old, he started a scheme to claim his liege's throne. This was not a quick task by any means, making BouCHAD grow more and more impatient, but he saw what he would become and was willing to wait just this once. During his multi-year wait, BouCHAD started a family, and on the 27th of April, 895, BouCHAD was born. There was no doubt who the father of this child was. Just look at him. The birth of this child must have been a good omen, because the scheme to claim the throne of France was complete just after his birth. Instantly, BouCHAD started a faction to install himself on the French throne, and all that propaganda about him being a god must have spread quite far, seeing as that other vassals pledged their military to his claim on the throne. King Carol III was sent an ultimatum: surrender his crown or face the wrath of BouCHAD and his allies. But King Carol instantly declined this offer. He would not let this lowly count take his throne. Then war it was. With France put swiftly under his rule, BouCHAD was able to put his plan to change the course of history forever into action. This was the birth of a new age for Christianity. BouCHAD would challenge their rule with a faith of his own, a faith that followed closely in Catholicism's footsteps, but varied in the places of its wrongs. Changes were made for better and for worse. Monasticism was replaced with pursuit of power, and this new faith was very progressive. They had equal gender laws and homosexual marriage, and even those who practiced dark magics would not be persecuted. They'd be encouraged, and clergy members could be either male or female, and they could marry if they wanted to. But the only flaw in BouCHAD's new religion was its views upon those of other religions, describing it as the one true faith. And a new age had begun, an age of Canadianism. To be Canadian is not just a nationality, it is an ideology, and those who oppose this new age will pay 10,000 times. We are tired of being ruled, tired of being oppressed. We will not take this anymore. Those who once ruled over us will now be ruled by us, and they shall know the pain that we suffered. The rivers will run red with the blood of our enemies, and the fields will grow fertilized by their bodies. No one will be free from the swords of our crusaders. Death will be brought upon those from the furthest reaches of the world. Safety will be only for those who see the righteous path, the path of the Canadian. There is only one force that will stop my onslaught, and that is the force of death. It may not be avoided, but it will be delayed. This world will never forget the day that the Canadians broke free from their chains and brought the full might of their fury upon those who had once enslaved them. A mark in history that will never be erased. BouCHAD was now the god that everyone thought him to be, and he was followed religiously, and he followed his word. His onslaught did not cease until that fateful day, the day the Reaper finally caught him, and the world was finally free from his tyrannical reign, and a new age of peace emerged.